All right, and welcome to the Hinge Games live stream. So, what were
Hey,
we going to talk about tonight? I'm Bjorn Swenson,
I'm Jock Joy.
and so what are we talking about tonight? We're going to be talking about. I had notes up earlier.
I just closed my
uh,
sheet.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking about. I did some optimizations in terms of like what gets loaded and stuff like that. Some polished things. World 5 story. And Jock's going to be talking about some more floor stuff and key art.
Mhm.
So I'll start with some of the polished things. So I did a pass because recently, in the last few weeks, months now, I added like multiplayer support and stuff like that. I added all the mod.io stuff so you could upload and download your dungeons. Hold on, I'm just gonna do this so we have it in the background. Uh, so yeah, you can upload your dungeons, share them, and stuff like that. Review your dungeons, but none of that text was localized. It was just like raw text in the engine. What you have to do when you're making a game is all of your text has to be in sort of a string list file, and
Mhm.
then that way when you're playing your game in English, it pulls from the English version of that file, so it'll look up like like this text for this, or you can't even see the loading screen, like the text for where it says continue and stuff like that. In English it'll say continue. It'll look up that line, and then we can translate it to Japanese or Korean or French or whatever, and it'll look up the French version of that line. So
Mhm.
I've converted a bunch of stuff from like just regular text to actually using the proper files, so we can export everything, send it to a third-party translator or something like that, and then import it back in, and it should be fairly easy.
Nice.
Yeah. So I did that. All the mod.io stuff. I added some more mod.io branding into the game because there's like
Mhm.
menus that pop up and stuff like that. Wait for this to finish loading and then go over. But basically, like there's like when you're uploading stuff to mod.io or saving your dungeons and stuff like that, or rating dungeons. You'll have like
Mhm.
the little logo in there. Now, instead of when you've actually uploaded, you'll see next to the dungeons that you've uploaded, you'll see like the icon for their website. So you know it's been uploaded there. Man, this is taking a long time to load.
Hmm.
What else? Option to exit the dungeon. That was another thing I added. Something I've been at meaning to add for a while. So now when you're in a dungeon, you pause the menu, you can just exit. You can choose it, and it'll just teleport you back to the entrance.
Nice.
You don't lose any of your progress or anything like that. Like if you go back down, like it unloads everything. So if you go back down, you're starting from scratch.
Mhm.
But that'll be very helpful for like when you're playing other people's dungeons. If you get stuck or something or a puzzle breaks, you can just exit the dungeon and run back in. And let's go here. So like if I look here, you can see my mouse. Switch to this. Ooh, can't see my mouse. There we go. Oh, still can't see it. Ah, well. But you can see up in the top right corner. I guess I can
Mhm.
select it. You can see it has like the little mod.io symbol
Mhm.
for it when it's been uploaded.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And there's other stuff. Let me actually go back. Oh, yeah, and I guess I could just show you if I'm in a dungeon. And now I can just exit dungeon. Teleports me to the entrance. Oh, it's verified. I'm going to have to change that because that technically
Mhm.
wasn't verified. But yeah.
Room for improvement.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Well, there's gonna be bugs for a while,
That's
and
fine.
I'll just go to the dungeon browser. There we go. So like here, if I'm looking, you can see like it says mod.io there because that's where you're searching for these, and added some stuff. So like enter in the name. You can search by name. You can search by the person that created the dungeon. You can search by stuff you're subscribed to. You can search by things that you've recently
Nice.
played. Like we store what maps you've recently played, so you can check that. And then you can
Nice.
sort you can sort by ID. Where is that? Yeah, you can sort by date added, date updated, stuff like that. And then you can sort ascending or descending. Yeah.
Cool.
So did all of that. Lots of little creature comfort things and like making sure we're shouting out mod.io. We owe them a lot at this point.
Nice.
And there's
Yeah,
some optimizations I made. I guess I could go a bit into Unreal. So the way Unreal structures stuff, go to a data table or a loop table. Actually, it'll be a better one. So for example, or let's look at quest loop. This will be going. So here we have these are all the kinds of different things you can pick up for quests and things like that. And there's the name of the object, and then there's the message that you get when you pick it up. So there's like it'll say sturdy mass, and this mass should do. And then there's a reference to a mesh. And the thing is, we don't want when we load this table to load every single mesh that gets referenced by every single thing you can pick up. We only want it loaded in when you actually pick up the object. So I switched a bunch of stuff around. So now rather than when we load in one of these, it loads in all of the meshes. Now won't load in any meshes. This is what's called a soft reference. And when you open the chest, it'll quickly load that mesh, and then display it. So that's one of the little optimizations we made. And another thing I did, which is like no players are gonna care about this, but I did some cleaning up in the status effect folder. We have like over 90 status effects now. So now we have a bunch of different folders for like if it's an ability related status effect, if it's extra armor, or if you get it from armor, auras, volumes, bosses, damage, elemental, like yeah. So
It is a dev stream, so maybe some dev out there is going to find that kind of interesting.
That's true. And then lastly, I did a bunch of work on World 5, so last world of our game. Mostly hashing out the story and thinking of ideas and stuff like that for the characters and things like that. And one of the things I realized, one of the things I was joking about with Jacques last week was, what if the character is just like really excited that you can go visit the place he's from, and he's like, oh man, when you go there, you have to go there. You have to go try this food, man. It's amazing. It's so good. This is the best place.
A backstory on me is once you get to know me, that's exactly what I do.
Yep.
Once you get to know me after, it's like, oh man, you were in Montreal, you got to try Schwartz. Oh my god, if you come here, you got to try the poutine at this place. Yeah, we have our thing.
Yeah, so that's basically that's who that character is down in the game. Is I'm basically like basing him off of Jacques. It'll probably give you a bunch of quests for places you have to go and food you have to try. And it started off as a joke. And then, it's taken a really long time to start up the game again. Okay, here we go. So, and now, so we'll put this in the game proper as well, but now in the dungeon builder, one of the things you can do is add food to your dungeon. And we'll reskin the treasure chest, so you're not finding it in the treasure chest. But now if I go to dungeon builder, and then I go build, there's a food option. So we can have a bunch of different kinds of food. We'll reskin it so it's not a treasure chest. We can make it like a lunchbox or something.
Oh, that's right. I was supposed to find something for you today.
I'm sorry. Oh, that's fine. Right now, I was just like, okay, what do I have in the database that looks like food or is food? And I found this blob that kind of looks like Jell-O. So I called it Jell-O. And basically, so when you pick this up, now you get a buff for like, I think it's like 2 minutes. I'll have to look at the time on it. But now it increases my attack speed. It doubles my attack speed. So if I'll load my last save so you can see the difference.
Nice.
But now we can have food, and the idea, I'll let Jacques explain how that's going to work. But the idea is this is actually going to be relatively cheap because it's a lot of stuff we already have. Like, we already have the treasure chest. We just need to do a reskin. We already have all the functionality. Like, it's basically the spreadsheets I was just showing you, where you just have, like, the name. So we need to fill out a name description and have the model of the food. And then we have buffs that'll, like... See, now this makes me shoot way faster. And I shoot way faster. And that'll last for 2 minutes, so I can go pick up some food somewhere. Be way more powerful. and I'll let Jack explain what we're gonna do for the models of the food.
Oh, just right now? Well, we have two plans, really. One is if we don't have time to... Well, we're going to basically find as much as we can online.
Well, the thing is, like, it's super popular online, right? So
yeah.
finding... we don't need to make a lot of it ourselves. There's tons of artists that love doing, like, food porn.
Food porn is the best. There needs to be more food porn in games.
Yeah, so we're gonna
Workstation. There's a good collection of people's favorite foods, so we'll try to get a bunch of them into the game.
Yep, and yes, because that's that's the thing. Like that's pretty much the only reason we were even putting this feature in is like we're not going to outsource it or get anything custom made for us. Is the fact that it's so popular online. It's like, oh yeah, we could just buy some stuff that people have already made, put it in.
And some people are absolutely insane about this. There's a guy on ArtStation who literally made like a substance designer procedural ramen. I wish I could I were making this up, but
oh yeah, I remember seeing that.
It's the most over the top thing ever. It's basically a dude who just he procedurally generated like the noodles, the thickness of the noodles, how many eggs you want. It's crazy. So it's
all on a plane though too, right?
Yeah, but that's what it is. It's a procedurally generated material, and then like the depth is given for you. Yeah, it's crazy. It's if any artists are out there, anyone that kind of any substance artists that want to see this, it's like the most craziest thing I think I've ever seen made.
If you want to look it up, you're sharing your screen with me right now, so I can just switch over. We can look at it. Sure. I mean, because again, like if this didn't exist, we would not be doing this.
Yeah.
Because
variable ramen, is this what it was? Yeah, so this guy made ramen out of substance. What I mean by substance is that it's not that he actually modeled and textured any of this. It's that there's a whole bunch of complex nodes that he used to procedurally generate this material so that it projects it onto like a flat plane, and the height is given through the height map, and it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, this isn't for sale, but it's one of those things where people love their food porn. Yeah. And it's so we just started looking for things, and there's 4,500 different items of food on there. So it's like some fit the style of our game a bit better. I would personally love to see bibimbap. So if anybody wants to make bibimbap for us, that would be amazing. Yeah, some bibimbap, some tonkatsu. Yeah, we've got some if you guys can make anything
like that, gochujang.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Okonomiyaki or anything that's like we love Well, yeah, I guess it's more of like a
Japanese Korean food. Hey, literally any kind of food. I mean, we go to a bunch of different places. We can have food from there too, or we can just. It can be anachronistic as well. I wouldn't mind having some like desserts in there too.
Totally. Yeah. So yeah, as we just lob out that request out there for anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a lot of really cool things here. So you want me to talk about what I did last week, or you still got more stuff?
Yeah, go ahead, man. I wanted to talk about the food and then lead into what you did.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna be hunting down stuff like this that kind of suits our game. This is obviously a bit too realistic for what we're trying to go with, but there's a lot of kind of more stylized, more simpler things, more cartoony things, and I think, and it seems like most artists like the same kind of food.
Yeah.
So anyway, what I worked on last week was how do I describe this? We had a bunch of these levels that had like these, I guess you would say more Bjorn generated floors. The kind of floors with just kind of like the areas that kind of punch through, or holes in them, or pathways or whatever, things that are a bit more not flat and set. So what I did was I had to make a bunch of tile sets. So this probably doesn't make a lot of sense when you first look at it, but what I did was kind of made these so this is kind of our basic tile, where it's just kind of like the basic floor and our trim, and this floor was going to be handled by a tiling texture, so I didn't put anything there. And this is kind of like for the front of this block. So this block was going to kind of serve as like a trim tile to our kind of our floor system, which I'll kind of get into a little bit more later. We also had a second one, which is kind of our corner. And the corner is basically a flip of, like this side is a flip of this, so I would just save myself extra space. And the last one is the diagonal one. So this is kind of a, it's supposed to be like this, but it's for any of our diagonal pieces. And I basically just add this extra bit so that it has a segue into the next tiling. And then I had to just kind of make sure that this piece matched the other piece and that this piece matched the other piece. And so basically it kind of seamlessly transitions between each other. And so you can kind of sort of see where it ends. And then I actually had to do a bit of finagling in Photoshop to kind of blend all these materials together. Anyway, so this is the high poly sculpt that I did. Then I went into Marmoset, and these are the bakes I did out of it. Final texture. So with these pieces, what we're able to kind of do in 3ds Max is to kind of, you can kind of see that we have these blocks now. We have like our flat block as well. Is with these blocks, we can start creating kind of our own little, tileable system. Like this, where these pieces kind of snap to each other. Like that. We can kind of take this one, build it over here, copy it, and we can start building kind of our own little procedural ground texture. I should put the 90-degree snap on. Like that. So we can start building up our floors like that in Unreal. And I'll just show it in Unreal. Oh. And play. And so this was kind of this took up most of my time last week. And so now you can see these old levels that had like, these gaps that you fall in, or this one is not a water one. But yeah, this is the kind of system that we use. And you can see that this entire tile texture was kind of using the world space coordinates. Thank God, because my plan A was to actually just have each one tile awkwardly, one for one, which would have been a little obvious. Yeah. And that's where this thing is at. And then just today we worked on something a little more difficult. It took a lot of help from Bjorn and Bruno to get this thing working, but I don't think did it work? No, it didn't work on my
side. I have it fixed on my end. I can show on my end.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Although the lighting is a bit broken.
And yours?
It's quite a bit broken. I don't know if it's anything to do with you, because I'm testing it in the Dungeon Builder.
Oh, okay.
But I'll just okay. Show that. Okay. So now, like this is the floor, and some parts of it will shake and then break away. So as you're going through, and we'll have like combat rooms like this. Yeah.
Do you like it that camouflaged, or do you want me to like model a crack, like a more obvious crack in each?
I honestly kind of like it that camouflaged. Like,
okay.
I mean, it's just like, oh man, this is a mess. But obviously, we're gonna have to go through it, like make it so there's something interesting in these rooms rather than just walking around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like having a tower there where it's like, oh, I gotta move around this tower. And especially like if you think about playing this with like 4 players.
Oh yeah.
And you're all running through, the floor is breaking apart.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Did you fill those in?
Oh yeah. I went through and did the other 4 rooms.
Oh, okay. Cool. Although I do wonder if I should put the trim on the outside of those walls. No, actually, no, I won't. In case you have a brick wall.
Actually, good case in point. So this, I think this is probably why it's the lighting is broken. Is because I didn't do the lighting in the other rooms. I just replaced the parts of the floor.
Yeah. Well, I'll get it ready for it. Yeah. At this point, with lighting, I just
Oh,
copy.
actually, that's something. So this is an interesting clue. So you can see the texture we have on the regular part, but then the texture on the side of the breakable stuff is different. So that could be a bit of a. We could make it match, but if it doesn't, that's an interesting clue that we could leave in. But you still need to break a few before you can see that. So.
I thought I actually. Oh, wait a second. Maybe because it's a destructible floor, it doesn't work. But I believe for the most part, I kept it.
There might be. There was a material function that you forgot to submit.
Oh.
So the top was sort of broken for me. But I was able to recreate it on my side. So if you do a sync,
oh, there it is. Tiled front. I'll submit it now.
Okay. But yeah, I recreated the custom coordinates, XY. I recreated that on my end so I could get the tile. Because yeah, like Jack said, we're using world space coordinates for these floors, so that basically they can seamlessly tile. Like this is a bunch of different meshes I'm walking across, but since we're using world space coordinates, they'll all actually the texture blends seamlessly between them. But the problem with world space coordinates is when an object moves, the texture stays still, so it looks like the texture is swimming on the object. And it doesn't look realistic or anything at all. It just looks really weird. So we needed to figure out a way of making it so when these shake before they fall, the texture actually sticks to them. And that's the thing that Bruno helped us out with today.
Yeah. Sorry, my cat's going crazy. I have to let him out. He's literally flying
no
out.
problem.
Sorry.
I'll just walk over this. So yeah, the lighting in this is really broken though. But when it has Jacques' proper lighting, these rooms are terrifying, and I can't wait to because I can set that up right now where it's like, okay, yeah, so let's do a combat in one of these rooms. Do combat in one with a ratchet floor. All right. So yeah, let's try doing a combat in one of these. How do I want to customize this? I'll make it a chameleon. Doesn't need to be epic. It could be big. And I'll fight a bunch of random guys. Or small guys. Alright, yeah, so let's try combat in this. But yeah, with your lighting, Jock, it'll work way better. What's going on? Why can't I go down? Oh, is that another bug? Oh yeah, I might have to look into that. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, okay, I think I know what's happening. Basically, oh, crashed. Basically, yeah, there's a thing I added. Because when I teleport out, I have to wait for streaming, but this level doesn't need to wait for streaming because it's much smaller. So I'll have to set something up to bypass it. Shouldn't be difficult.
Cool. I can talk about the key art we have.
Just give me one moment. I want to run this with combat, just to see what it's like with when I can't tell what parts of the floor are going to collapse. The thing is too, running around in that room, it makes me makes me think we could afford a lot more places to fall off, to crumble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely it's sort of reminiscent of Mario for me, like a Mario 3D World. I think they had something similar to that. And it became more frustrating the more people that were there, but it was actually kind of fun at the same time.
Absolutely. All right, so let's go. Let's start this fight. Oh jeez. Oh god. Yeah. So if you're not paying attention. And then you're slowly making it harder and harder. Oh god!
That's pretty cool.
This is amazing. I love it.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, and I guess that's something I forgot about too. So these I think get react to getting hit by weapons or projectiles anyway.
Yeah, the explosive shot. Yep.
Well, even just that's on the explosion. Oh. Yeah, the cleave is breaking them.
Yeah, I think the explosive shot, but you can do the top-down one. What's it called?
Yeah. Well, any of the top-down ones. Oh, no, that one didn't. Yeah. Because, yeah, that should have broken it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, with the explosive shot, it should. The thing is, too, the explosive shot, like, because the ones you were trying with that were the ones that only get destroyed by the explosive shot.
Oh, okay. You cross that gap, you roll across it.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing, is, like, so we can set this up to be a little less forgiving, but at the same time, like, there are certain metrics that we want to follow. So, like, generally, the nice thing about these, because I think these gaps are 2.5 meters, and the nice thing about that, so the thing you want to happen is you see a gap and you jump over it successfully, right?
Yeah.
Things we have to be careful of, like, because what we want is a good 2.5 meter platform for you to land on, so you don't overshoot.
Yeah.
And you don't undershoot, because, like, you can see here, like, I would have, if that was only, like, you know, the 1.25 square that this is made out of, I would have overshot that. So
God, my second cat is asking to go outside. Sorry.
it's the popular thing to do. Your first cat's a trendsetter, evidently. Okay, but yeah, that's basically one of the things with our level metrics is we want it to be easy to land. And I didn't even, just as I say that, I don't even land it. Oh yeah, that's something else I did. Is I added a little. No problem. I added a little stun thing when you jumped off an edge. Nice. Just because I was like, yeah, it makes sense that you're stunned instead of just like locking your controls for a second.
Platform release too wide. You don't want to do a lot of narrow, tiny ones because it makes the gap jumping difficult, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Although technically, because the thing is, it's a bit different. So there's, I guess because we could afford some narrow ones here. But the thing we need to take into account is, like, if you're jumping from one to the other, then we're gonna. Yeah. If you're going to jump, we expect you to jump to one, then it should be at least 2 meters wide. The thing about these is you shouldn't necessarily need the dodge to get through this room. So even if you hit every square, every collapsible square in this room, and I'll try to do that now real quick. There. So even if you hit every collapsible, like, you can still walk through this room. You shouldn't actually need dodge to get through it. But there are variations of this where we can make it so you have to have dodge. And so we could have, you end up with patches that, like, you can't walk off of, you need to dodge to get off of. So we can do that. Uh-oh. Yeah, so, yeah, I think we can do that. We'll do a couple more variations of this room where it's like, you need dodge and then have this, but honestly, for something like this where you can actually walk the entire way, we could have a lot less in there. We could have some narrower platforms. I think so, for sure.
It looks like a lot of chaos and fun.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be really fun. So yeah, but that's
I think I want to see 4-player actually.
That's what we got. Yeah, 4-player is gonna be insane.
Everyone's gonna be falling off in 4-player, but that's kind of that thing.
That's the thing, is, like, if you look at it, like, if one person's way out ahead of everybody else and they run over a bunch of this stuff, is one of the people following them going to fall into it? Yeah.
You never see towers with combat, do you?
You
never see towers with combat.
No, they don't spawn in combat. Yeah, I think I'll make versions of this where it's just like there's a ton more that can fall. It's just so fun. I did have to reduce the number of things they break into, though, because I think it was crashing Unreal.
Oh, yeah, it's at 500.
Yeah, I think I put it down to 200, and I haven't had a crash since, so probably. Whoa! What was that? I guess if you dodge just as it's falling. Probably threw me up or something. Oh. Anyway. Yeah, so let's talk about some key arts.
Yeah, sure. Got here.
All right.
Yep. My screen sharing. Okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So this is something that Gina did for us. She worked on it for past month, which is pretty awesome. We really like it. It's kind of on brand. It's kind of neat because a lot of it just tipped from Gina's personal style, which we're now just kind of amalgamating into what we're doing or the kind of direction we're going with. The nice thing about this is that it's layered, where we can actually kind of isolate each and every individual character.
Yeah.
So yeah, we could actually, well, in the composition, like there's not a whole lot there, but if you want to have like a cut of Brian there, if you wanted Inanna, we've got her isolated like this. We've
Mm-hmm.
got Momotaro's kind of on his own, and Odin's kind of faded, but I could probably fix that with some leveling. Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
then Neath. Neath, I tried to darken a bit, but it I can see why because her skin tone's supposed to be more copper, I would say. But the
Mm-hmm.
problem is like just due to the way the lighting works. So of course this is we're shooting it, but trying to like find the sweet spot, but it didn't seem to really work well because there's that kind of bluish tone over everything. So I think she actually
Mm-hmm.
intended her to be kind of more, Persian skin tone, but because of just the dramatic lighting and kind of that bluish wash over everything,
Yeah.
it didn't. Yeah,
Mm.
it works as this. So in the game, she might look a little bit more darker, but she's going to be. This is more or less kind of we're happy with what she did. It's pretty
Okay.
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, and so yeah, this will work well. We're just kind of waiting on the logo,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, from there on we'll start splashing this thing everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Put it on
Yeah,
everything. I love it. I love it.
yeah.
It's my desktop background right now.
Oh yeah, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I should do the same. Yeah, cool. And yeah, so for this week, that's pretty much all I did. And yeah, I mean, it was a lot of just actual content making, but yeah, we got around to it. So I'm just kind of this week will be filling out the rest of the dungeons. So they should be done this week, I think.
Cool.
That's the goal. Yeah. And then you can make a whole bunch more. And then I'll get to it's kind of exciting because I'm gonna go back to Dreams Reach and see if I can start doing a pass on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And start getting the building space. Our friend Scotty started making some stuff for us there, and I don't think he finished, but he gave me a starting point. So
Oh, cool.
yeah. Oh, my perforce isn't working. Yeah. So for some reason, I thought I had a lot more to talk about, but I just kind of rushed right through
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the modular stuff is going to help a lot, so we're going to be able to
Yeah.
get a decent amount of variety out of
Hmm.
that. The interesting
It's
thing
fun.
about the new setup we have for those tiles is
Hmm.
like now that you can't tell where they are, like players will probably be able to memorize a bit of like where they are and spots they might
Hmm.
want to avoid.
Yeah.
But it's going to be super difficult because it's like, oh yeah, it all looks identical anyway.
Is there any
So
way you could set up a logic to it, like
the
procedurally generated,
procedurally,
so it's completely different? Or
oof, probably. I don't know if I'd want to though. I'd probably just want a few presets.
okay,
Because the
yeah,
thing
that's
is,
fine.
I don't think I could do one that would be reliably good for combat. So
Yeah, fair enough.
yeah, and I do a couple of variations where it's like, oh, this one has all the hard stuff to walk on. This one you need dodge, but a lot more of the floor disappears.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I just
but
realized
yeah.
something really funny about this. So what
Mm-hmm,
happened is after I made the diagonal one and diagonal one
mm-hmm.
here, I realized I never actually had one for if you wanted two diagonal pieces together side by side. It was just basically it had to
That.
be like this and like this, but there was no side by side diagonal one. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what can I do with that? And then I realized there was also another instance of this where was it? Yeah, hold on, let me set my snaps to 90%, 40% degrees. Let's go 90. If I were to go like this, I realized that I also had another issue where I
Oh
didn't have
yeah.
a transition from that to that.
Oh, okay.
So what? And I didn't feel like making a brand new one. It just said, you know what? I have all the textures made. Like, this is after I had made everything, like
Hmm.
made all the stuff. I used 100% of the texture and put everything together. I'm like, ugh, what can I do to actually just make this work? So
Nice
I
work.
basically kind of finagled a bunch of these UVs together, just to kind of
Hmm.
art hacks. This is like other artists will look at this and like, yeah, I remember doing that crap. Uh,
Yeah.
so I took what was it? I took the edge piece that would already kind of be here on
Hmm.
this side and like just duplicated like a little cut of this onto the other side just so that you get the nice kind of symmetrical. You get a continuation of this, you get a continuation of this, and you kind of get like a piece like that. And then I'm like, okay, well now I need a block here to sort of make it look like it did something. So it looked like a
Yeah.
block was kind of hovering on top of this. And let me hide the
Yeah.
lines. I'm kind of proud of it because it's so hacky.
Nice.
uh Edit UVs channel. Where's the scenes? Show. Do I have it? Edit UVs channels, peel, projection, wrap, configure, slate, peel, map scenes. There we go. So now you kind of see like this is the brick that I just kind of used from up here. So
Okay.
you
Yeah.
needed a brick piece that ended there and ended there and was kind of symmetrical-ish and match with this. I could have made something that was a bit more like,
Hmm.
interesting, or I could have made it even like like a square, I guess. I could have like continued it, but then I
Oh
decided,
yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what, this will work. And then it's flexible to work on the other side too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I could do that, and then I could also use it for uh, this configuration. We don't have any of this yet, but if
Mm.
we ever did, we could
No.
do
Yeah. It's
that.
it's great to have that flexibility, right?
Yeah. So it's like, okay, that works. It looks like it belongs. It was completely hacked. It
Mm-hmm.
works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I,
Yeah.
I'm content with
Yeah. I
it.
don't think anybody's gonna spot that.
Yeah. Well, they might now that I pointed it out, but
Yeah, unless they watch.
uh,
Yeah, if they watch this stream, yeah.
yeah. And then there's, of course, you can see that this is a replica, a mirror of that side.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, what did I do? What did I? That was not meant to happen.
Franks versus.
Yes. Fun. It's
Yeah.
fun because like I start making things with a plan, and then I realize quickly where the plan falls short, and then I have to quickly change up with these miniature hacks, which we're used to in production. After 20
Oh
years of
yeah.
doing this, it's just like, yeah, you just
Hmm.
find ways to make it work.
Oh,
How
for
many times
sure.
I've had to do this?
For sure.
Yeah. Cool.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't.
And
I don't know. We covered pretty much everything.
yep.
Yeah.
You call it a stream.
Yeah, might as well.
All
No,
right.
no point in stretching it out with a bunch of dead air.
Yeah. Good
Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for stopping
night,
by.
everyone.